Hey, it's Mike.
Yes,
Today I'm going to work on putting together a beat, maybe throw some sax on it, do some lyrics, see how far we get. Let's go ahead and get started. So I got this drum kit loaded up. Let's see what we can put together. Decided to go with a really slow BPM today, so we're doing 70 BPM, supposedly in the trap range, but I'll probably end up making something completely unlike trap. So let's go ahead and get started. There we go. See how that goes. Alright, let's add some more to that. We got a basic drum beat going. Mess around with bass sounds. Alright, I really don't want to double it up too much. So I'm going to go grab that and we'll go from there. Alright, I got something that might work. We're going to do a few takes here and see if we can get it down. I realized that the synth and bass sounds I laid down were not in the same key as the sax I laid down, and they weren't exactly meshing together, at least in my opinion. So I'm trying out different things to see if I can find something that works better without redoing the sax. I'm not liking it. Okay, we'll try and do something with that. Alright, so let's go ahead and start arranging this. I'm going to keep those 4 bars I just worked on and get rid of these first 4. The first things I'm going to do is go ahead and split this drum track up. Sometimes I can keep it all on one track, but usually I like to split it up into its own track, mostly so that I have individual track control over each of the drum pieces, and I can control taking bits and pieces of them in and out to make the drum track more interesting over the course of the song. So I don't want to have to go into it at a certain spot and edit the snare out of just one thing. I'd rather just move the arranger loop over to the part that I want the snare removed from and delete that part from the snare track. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and go in here and go duplicate track with events. We'll do that again, duplicate track with events, duplicate track with events. I know I can do explode, but I hate doing explode because it destroys the actual keyboard. It only gives you the one key that it exploded out. For some reason I don't like that because I like to be able to go into the track and play with stuff. So I'm doing it this way, which is a little bit more tedious, but works for me. Okay, so we've got how many different elements in the drums? We've got the kick, our snare-ish sound, our hats, and 1 crash cymbal. So 4 tracks, so we should be good. So we'll go in here, and name this one kick. Everything I'm going to do while I'm thinking about it is I don't want to put New York compression on the kick after I've already got it on the pad. So we'll go ahead and take it off of the individual pad elements here. And then we'll go into the grid. And we will start deleting. I've got it so that whenever I hit a key, it's going to select all the elements, so I can just get them all out at once. This is just a kick. Go to the next one. Call this snare. I like cyan for my snares. All right. Probably about to the point where we just want to go ahead and try and arrange up an intro, sort of get a feel for what the layout of the song might be. And do that, go ahead and double up. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think it actually did that. Oh, it did. Okay. Any particular reason why? That's weird. Oops, copy bars. That did not fix it. I didn't actually save the project yet. I should probably do that. So I name all of my projects num something something until I figure out what it's actually going to be. So 108 is the last one I did, so this will be 109. This is weird. Do it again if I double up. Yep. I got both of them this time. OBKB. That's just weird. Does this work? Nope. What on earth is going on? Duplicate. Like, yo. Bizarre. Okay. So now we're back to mutes and trying out different things. Figure out what intro I like the best. Maybe we start with the drums. Okay, so okay, let's try that. We're going to go into the first loop, and we're going to start with kick, snare, and hats going. We'll have the cymbals in a bit later, and then of course everything else. So we start with that, and then here we'll probably add the cymbals and the bass, and leave off the sax and the synth. And then for here, we're going to add just the synth. And then we're going to start by introducing the high sax first, and then, or sorry, the low sax first, and we'll erase the high sax. Okay, there's our intro. Alright, so quick vibe check. I'm not really feeling this song so far, but I found that that can change as you work on it and add things to it and do more stuff with it. And eventually it's like, oh yeah, this is actually something. So I've learned not to just move off of things that I don't immediately start dancing around and having a vibe to. So maybe this one will work out, maybe not, but I'm going to keep going, see if I can get a little bit more of an arrangement laid out, get some idea for vocals that I would put on this, and then we'll see what we end up with. Maybe it'll be cooler than it sounds right now. And maybe it won't, and we'll just move on, and that's fine too. Alright, so I'm back with Num 109, as we're calling it now. We've carved out the intro. And we start with the drums, and add the cymbals and the bass. We'll go in and carve the drums a bit later to make it not so monotonous. And then add the synth and then the sax. Okay, that's good. Now what? Um, Usually what I'll do is I'll figure out a certain length, I'll stretch it out, maybe throw on an ending, because an ending is almost as easy to do as the beginning. Like, how do you want the sounds to taper off? How do you want it to stop making noise? Figure that part out, and then you got all just the middle to worry about. And then for the middle, usually try to find that first verse. So you assume that you've come into the song, you've built up to this crescendo, and then you're about to quiet things down so the vocals can come in and sing the first verse. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and blow this out to, I don't know, probably 80. This is 780 BPM, so 60 is probably plenty. Now that I think about it. And then we've got this dense brick of stuff that we've just been carving up a little bit for the intro, so we'll clone that out a few times. Do that, you just copy bars and save the number that you want. If you hit replace, it should put it right next to where you are. So 6 copies, sure. What does that put us? 64 bars. Okay, great. Go to the end. And you don't have to make all this stuff and scroll around. You can put the end on first and then fill it in the middle, but this is fine by me. So we'll go to the end, and I'll just go ahead and add a few extra bars. And yeah, probably shrink the loop to there. Maybe cut the bass a little bit sooner. Alright, still working on this ending here. I'm just going to copy this last synth part because there's more resolution. I just want to put it at the same number as there and next to it. Okay, I'm going to do a trick I did on another sax heavy song that I thought worked out pretty good. And that is to duplicate the high sax, and put a filter on it. Trick old as time. I'll go here, duplicate with events, factory range, and then we'll carve out what we're going to do with it. So we'll probably go right into the verse, and we'll do it for at least that long, maybe shorter. We can always clean that up later, but we'll say that that part is not the high sax. And we'll say that this part is not the filtered high sax. And then we'll probably go back into both over here. Or back into the regular one. And then for the filtered sax, what I like to do literally just put air filter on it and put it on the radio. On the radio. That sounds pretty cool usually. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Yep. We don't actually want the regular sax in there at all. Maybe we bring it in towards the end. We'll do that later. Alright, so I decided to do that same trick with the low sax as well. So now I have a high and a low version of the filtered version of the sax, and I turned them down both in that verse section. So most likely what there would be there'd be a verse, some sort of ramp up back into the full stack, and then another verse followed by the outro and maybe a solo or some sort of breakdown for about 3 minutes. But for now, this is enough to sort of showcase the introduction, the verse space, and then a build back up and then a fade to the end, which is, enough for a demo. So here it is. All right, so where are we at? We got a demo basically, so enough to bounce and go listen to and get some ideas with, um, especially if we're working on what the vocals might be. Lots of stuff that could be done to improve this from where it's at. You can work on variations of the bass line and the drums. Um, Clean up sax samples. I'm sure there's plenty of work that could be done there. Um, and then, yeah, all the work for laying down vocals and finishing the arrangement. So there's quite a bit of stuff to do. Don't know if I'm going to do it. Kind of see how it goes. Depends on what I come up with vocals. If I really like that, then yeah, I'll be like, okay, we got to finish this. So we'll see. But for now, this is where I'm at. I got basically a finished demo with minimal amount of mixing and arranging going on, so we get a sense of what the finished song would kind of look like. And that's it. So thanks for watching if you got this far. And maybe I'll see you around again.